So today we are going to discuss about the conjugate gradient method for quadratic functions. And essentially through this approach with quadratic functions, we are going to lay bare some of the reasons behind the particular formulas which we have given before for the different methods. So you will develop a good understanding about the derivation of those particular formulas for Fletcher Reeves and so on. So the particular aim of this entire video is to explain to you the derivation of the formulas for Fletcher Reeves, Heston-Stiefels and Pollock-Revier method. Now you will also realize how some of these formulas actually come out of mathematical work which is done on quadratic functions, and then later they can be extended to actual nonlinear functions. So let's start this process. Consider this quadratic function of n variables f of x, where A is a symmetric and positive definite matrix. Now we will show that starting from any point x0 and using A conjugate directions d0, d1, d2 all the way to dn-1, the conjugate gradient method will converge to the solution x star, which is the optimal solution of this function f of x at exactly n equals k or k equals n. So essentially, mathematically speaking, we can say that xn is going to be x star. So this is a fundamental fact that we are going to prove in the next few slides. So basically, let's go back and start with the general optimization algorithm, which is xk plus 1 equals xk plus step size into search direction dk. Now we are going to use a fact in this derivation that these conjugate directions d0, d1, d2, dn-1 are linearly independent. So we can prove this particular fact by contradiction. So let us presume that this is not so, and actually these vectors are linearly dependent. In that case, if you have this set of vectors, we can write out a particular equation in this form: alpha 0 d0 plus alpha 1 d1 all the way to alpha n minus 1 dn minus 1 equal to 0. And if these vectors are linearly dependent, then certainly one of these values of alpha is not going to be equal to 0. Okay, so let us assume that is alpha subscript I. Now let's say this is true. Then let's go back to the equation here and pre-multiply it by di transpose A. So we pre-multiply this equation, and essentially what happens is that there is a lot of vanishing, and all the terms where I is not equal to I essentially get decimated because of the A conjugacy property, and whatever remains is this term alpha I dit A di equal to 0. But we have started with this thinking that A is positive definite, and therefore dit A di is greater than 0. Now for this to happen, alpha I must be 0. And therefore we have proved by contradiction that the conjugate directions are linearly independent. So we are going to use this property now, and to use this property, let us consider the vector x star minus x0, which is a vector of size n and represents the difference between the optimal design x star and the starting design x of 0. Now such a vector can be expressed in terms of conjugate gradients in this manner. So essentially, if this is a vector, I can write it in terms of the conjugate gradients with certain constants beta 0, beta 1 to beta n minus 1, which are general values which we need to calculate. Now we take that last equation and we pre-multiply it by dkta. So essentially we get this equation here, and what happens is that again, because of this A conjugacy property, lot of the terms vanish on this side, and all the terms where D superscript k is not present will become 0, and so finally you are going to get the term beta k dkt a dk. So this is the only term which is going to survive, and therefore I can get an expression for these beta values, which is given here. Beta k is this dkt a x star minus x0 by dkt a dk. Now we are going to spend some time trying to further simplify this definition of beta k here. So let us look at xk. Now xk is going to be xk minus 1 plus alpha k minus 1 into dk minus 1, which is the general search formula. Now you keep going backward in time. So this will then become xk minus 2 plus this term here with k minus 2 and this term here. Okay, so all we are doing is we are expanding this whole thing out all the way to x of 0. So if you do that, you get this equation here. Xk is x0 plus alpha 0 d0 alpha 1 d1 all the way to alpha k minus 1 dk minus 1. And therefore I can then write xk minus x0 is this equation here. So essentially this is coming out of this here. Now I essentially have two sets of equation. One is xk minus x0 and the second is x star minus x0, and we are going to use these two equations next. So x star minus x0 can be written as x star minus xk plus xk minus x0, because xk would cancel out. So we pre-multiply both sides of this equation by dkta and we get this equation here. Now we have obtained the equation for xk minus x0 in the previous slide. So substitute that equation here and we get this big term here with all the terms ranging from alpha 0 to alpha k minus 1. Now once again you think about the A conjugacy property. All these terms do not have k in them, and therefore they are all going to be decimated or wiped out. And essentially whatever is going to be left is this term here and this term here. So two terms are going to survive this process, and these are the two terms here. Okay, so you can take a look at this. Now we are going to further simplify this equation here. To do that, we go back to our quadratic function and we realize that if we were to differentiate this quadratic function and get the gradient, we would get ck is axk minus b from direct differentiation. And also at the optimal point this gradient would be 0. So if we set axk minus b equal to 0, we get ax star is b, where x star is the optimal solution. Therefore I can write this last equation like this, where I have brought the a from outside to inside here. So it has become ax star minus axk, and then I use ax star is b from here. I use axk is ck plus b, and I put that here. There is a cancellation of these two b's and I get minus dkt ck. So this is nice compact expression, and by looking at this expression and this expression here, I can simplify the whole problem here. So I can get beta k equals dkt a x star minus x0 by dkt a dk. So this was in the previous slide, and so if I take this term here now and I realize this is minus dkt ck, the numerator becomes like this and I get this compact expression. So this is the expression for beta k which I have obtained. Now again go back to our previous slides and recall that x star was this series here and xk was this series here. Okay, so in x star we had beta 0 terms, beta 1, beta terms and so on. In xk we had the alpha terms, and here we had d0 to n minus 1, here we had d0 to k minus 1. So now what we do, we put k equals to n in the second equation, and we subtract these two equations. So we get x star minus xn is going to be this series here. So now we are going to look at this particular series, and we are going to realize that if alpha I and beta I are same, then all these terms are going to be 0, and therefore x star is going to be xn. Therefore all I have to do is select alpha k is beta k, or alpha k is minus dkt ck dkt a dk, and if I were to do that, the conjugate gradient method would converge in exactly n iterations for a quadratic function. So essentially this is something we have been saying for a long time. Now we have proved it, and also we have found the step size value here as a closed form solution. So let us summarize what we have done till now. What we have seen is that for a positive definite quadratic function, the conjugate gradient method will work with whatever set of conjugate directions you can get using the matrix A. So let us say you use the matrix A to get these conjugate directions, and then you just have to use the general algorithm, and you also have the step size value, and then you are going to work out with your algorithm. Now just in a few slides we are going to actually address the issues of how do you get these particular search directions, and one of the ways is of course to get them from the steepest descent method. So again, this type of approach which we are going to show here essentially develops the algorithm based on a quadratic function and then uses it on a general optimization problem. So this kind of mindset is often used to come up with new optimization problems. And these approaches typically work well because many functions are quadratic in a local sense and have positive definite Hessian matrices near a minimum point, which is the approximation we are making here. We are always presuming that the matrix A for the quadratic form is a positive definite matrix. Now we are going to look at the conjugate gradient method for the quadratic functions. So let's again go back to our quadratic function f of x half xtax minus btx, and again we assume that A is symmetric and positive definite. Now the first search direction comes directly from the steepest descent method, so d0 is minus c0. We already know how to go to the next point x1. x1 is going to be x0 plus alpha 0 d0, and for alpha 0 we have already derived this particular equation. So if we have A, we have d0 from here, we have c0, we can quickly calculate this particular value. So that gives us the starting value of d0, but now we have to calculate d1, d2 and so on. So that's what we'll do next. So let us say we now look at the next conjugate direction d1. So d1 is going to be minus c1 plus some beta 0 d0, where we still don't know the beta 0. Now pre-multiply both sides of this equation by d0 ta, which we do here. And as soon as you do this, you can realize that you have a particular term where you can use this conjugacy factor. Okay, and essentially this is the term, because d0 ta d1 must be 0 because 0 and 1 are different. So this entire term becomes 0, and you write this term as 0 here, and this immediately gives you your solution for beta 0, which is given out here. So that essentially gives you the first value of beta 0 here, and with that you can calculate the direction d1. Now extrapolate this to the kth situation. So let us say you are at the k plus 1th point and you have obtained xk and dk. So the next search direction is going to be dk plus 1 is minus ck plus 1 plus beta k into dk. Now pre-multiply both these sides by dkta, which we have done here, and again enforce conjugacy, which means that dkta dk plus 1 must be 0 because dk and dk plus 1 are a conjugate, and therefore this equation must be 0. Now once this equation is 0, I can get beta k in this form. So essentially whatever we did in the previous slide, we now generalized it to the kth point. So essentially at every point we can now generate a search direction using this general formula here. Now use this beta k and the search direction dk plus 1. You get this value here. You have minus ck plus 1 plus beta k into dk. Generate all these conjugate directions d0, d1, d2 to dn minus 1, and you can then solve the problem. Now if you look at the beta k values which we have derived, we see that this beta k would require you to know the value of a. And this method of course can be used if you have a quadratic function, because if you have a quadratic function you would have a value of a, and you can also obtain the value of ck at any point. Now what we are going to do next in the next lecture is we are going to generalize this formula such that a is no longer there. We are going to get rid of this a matrix from this formula. Okay, but again coming back to this formula, we see that such a matrix is there for all quadratic functions, but we won't have it for any general function. So in a general formula, we try to remove this matrix A from certain derivations and calculations, and that is what actually Heston, Stifel, Pollack, Rebier, and Fletcher Reeves have done, and they have given us these nice formulas which we have looked at, which are expressed only in terms of the search directions and the gradients. So no A matrix comes there, though these formulas are actually derived from a situation where you are presuming a quadratic function. So that is something which is interesting. Now for quadratic functions, all these formulas will give the same results, but their performance can deviate significantly when you apply them to general nonlinear functions. So essentially this video was a somewhat deeper and more mathematical study of the conjugate gradient method and how some of the formulas which are used in the conjugate gradient methods can be derived. Because in many books you will find that the conjugate gradient methods and many methods are presented straight away without any particular proof or any derivation. So very often students are using these methods as tools without understanding the genesis of these methods, which is very important to understand the strengths and weaknesses of these methods. And also in case you ever want to create new algorithms or even read the literature, it's interesting to know some of the genesis of these conjugate gradient methods, because they are very powerful methods and are used in optimization for very large degree of freedom systems. So I'll stop this lecture here and we will meet again in the next video, where we are going to use this particular beta k to derive expressions for the Heston, Stifel, Pollack, Rebier, and the Fletcher Reeves method. Thank you very much for listening to my video, and please subscribe to my channel and inform different people about this particular set of lectures which I have posted here. If you want to look at some examples on this particular topic, you can consult my book, which has a plethora of examples on how to get conjugate directions and so on. Thank you very much.